So Don, can I ask you then, it's your second day here at Realise, how have you found things so far?
It's been a strange experience having spent 10 years at a different company to come in brand new to a new company.
Mm.
It's almost an experience I've forgotten could happen. You always think you're ready for anything, but as we're starting with any new company, you've got all the people to meet, you have all the systems to learn, you have all the clients to meet, you have all the kind of historic work and the history of the company to get your head around, to look at, to find your way with. So it's, I was saying to somebody yesterday, I think I'm going to have to delete some childhood memories from my brain to free up some space for all the stuff that I actually need to kind of to store away. So it's interesting, but it's good. It feels good to have new things to be thinking about, to be effectively scaring yourself a bit, because you're kind of starting again in a way. You know, you're moving from one industry to another, and although there are parallels with the skill set I have for that industry, there's still a lot of interesting differences to find out about. But more about just the structure of the way the companies are set up, the way people create work for their clients is relatively fundamentally the same in any industry. But just meeting my colleagues, learning about the people that I'm going to be working with, it's quite fascinating, you know.
What is it that excites you most about your new role then?
Well, I guess I was trying to explain this to somebody the other day. There's a program on TV at the moment called Mad Men. You might see Mad Men, and it's all about that period in the late 50s, early 60s, when the old-fashioned advertising world, as we know it at the moment, was in its infancy, and people were still defining how it worked, defining what the best way to do things were. It was in this kind of state of flux, a jelly-like state, where nothing had been defined, nothing had been set in stone, and there was an excitement, there was a vibrancy and excitement, and that is very much the same as the digital industry now. Nobody's really said this is exactly how this has to work, and there are no rules that have been set in stone about the format, the formulas, the criteria with which people work to. So everything's up for grabs, everything's a new opportunity, and I'm one of those people who kind of likes to live in a world where if there are rules, you break them, or actually, even better, there are no rules. So it feels like a transition to a world that is very exciting for someone like me. No one has said to me, you're doing the wrong thing. Everyone has said it's a great move, it's a great transition, it's a great opportunity to be at the start of something new. So it's all positive, it's all good. And even my colleagues at the uni have been fantastic, been supportive. You know, there's some wonderful people there that I've spent a long time working with, who understand completely why I chose to do it. My background is ideas. My background is big ideas. It just so happens that the advertising industry is one of the best places to find people who have big ideas. So I think, you know, strategic thinking, the creative thinking, the creative product, it's all a natural transition into anything digital. And really, when you think about it, digital kind of just means stuff that isn't printed. You know, I mean, TV is a digital medium, radio is a digital medium, the web is a digital medium, phones are a digital medium. Paper is about the only medium that isn't really digital. And as we all know, as we kind of well know with your industry in journalism, the transition from paper to online has been huge. You know, it's changed the industry entirely and will continue to do that. So really, it feels to me that it's a very natural step, and I think, yeah, people will follow in future. But you know, advertising it's a funny word, because really it's about communications. It's about, you know, one organisation communicating with their kind of customers through different mediums. Advertising is a word that's kind of stuck for years and years and years, but it's kind of bigger than that. And I think any advertising agency you go to these days is bigger than that. They're not just about advertising. They're about integrated communications, 360-degree communications on behalf of their clients, the brands that they work on. So I think if traditional advertising agencies still play a very positive role and still have a great future ahead of them, it's just almost that word advertising in some ways is kind of pulling us back to an old-fashioned era, and communications is a better word for that.
In some ways this is going to be a learning process for you as well. Do you know what sort of things you need to personally learn in the short term in order to pick up with the job and start running with it?
Well, a lot of people have said this to me. A lot of people have said, "Oh, you have so much learning to do." But you know what? There's not. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not a programmer. I don't understand all the deep back end technical stuff that goes on with websites. I couldn't begin to build a financial services website or understand how that works on a transactionary level. There are people here who do that. There are fantastic technical people who understand the web at its deepest point. But my job is still a communicator, and it's about creating that transition between those front end interface communications with the customers, the clients of the consumer, of the clients, and making that transition really fluid through to the back end, and working with those guys. So I need to learn some stuff about the back end, but really communications. I mean, a website. This is the amazing thing about a website. Is anything you want it to be. A website is a TV ad if you want it to be. It's a film if you want it to be. It's a brochure if you want it to be. It's a poster, a flyer, whatever you want a website to be, it can be that. It's just a space that you look at and are involved with and are communicated through. So I don't feel that it's anything I haven't done before. It might just be through a different screen that somebody's looking at those communications, but it's nothing that I need to learn too much about.